As if the debate wasn't damaging enough for Donald Trump, what's happened in the aftermath has somehow managed to be even worse. Trump has contended with not one, but two of the biggest stars in the entire country coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris, Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish. Eilish posted this video onto her socials.
We are voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they are fighting to protect our reproductive freedom, our planet, and our democracy.
We can't let extremists control our lives, our freedoms, and our future. The only way to stop them and the dangerous Project 2025 agenda is to vote and elect Kamala Harris.
Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
Now, I know that Republicans are twisting themselves into knots right now, insisting that endorsements don't actually have any impact. And normally, that might carry some weight, but these aren't normal endorsements. Billie Eilish has 7.5 million Twitter followers, more than 66 million TikTok followers, and 119 million followers on Instagram. And Taylor Swift has more than 95 million followers on Twitter, 32 million on TikTok, and 284 million on Instagram. I mean, I know we're not talking about cultural behemoths like Kid Rock and Scott Baio and Dennis Miller and Kevin Sorbo, but we make do with what we've got.
This is exactly the kind of enthusiasm that you cannot buy or trade. It has to be somewhat organic. This is her decision. It speaks on behalf of the feminists and other issues that are at stake. She talked about that in the statement. She has many people who will be not necessarily brainwashed by this, as the right might try to complain, but who will be giving the Harris-Walz ticket another look.
It's phenomenal. She alerted people, and she wrote a beautiful piece in doing it. She said, okay, this is how I feel. I did my research. Now you go do yours and vote. That was her basic message. And of course, she has so many fans. Her platform is huge. So a lot of people are responding to that.
Her capitalizing on that moment and pushing the story about the debate forward. I can't believe I'm going to say this on television, but I think it's kind of like the white woman version of what Taraji P. Henson did at the BET Awards when she said, look up Project 2025.
Yes.
There was such a cultural shift after that moment that I kind of see Taylor using that opportunity to jump through.
I'm glad people forget that so many people glazed over, didn't know. As soon as she said that at the BET Awards, it was like the lights went on.
You can't underestimate this endorsement. I don't think celebrity endorsements matter all that much.
Almost ever.
But I think this particular one does because of the influence that she has over the specific kinds of voters that Democrats need to get to the polls.
In fact, their followings aside, we do have concrete data that backs up the potency of someone like Taylor Swift's endorsement. In the immediate aftermath of Taylor Swift coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris, just within the next 24 hours, according to the General Services Administration, her custom voter registration link for vote.gov drew more than 405,000 people to the voter registration site. By comparison, according to the agency, vote.gov was welcoming about 30,000 visitors per day. We also know that those who do complete their registration have a roughly 80% conversion rate in terms of actually casting ballots, according to TargetSmart, meaning that the potential electoral impact of these major stars endorsing Harris and providing voter registration links are monumental, especially in an election cycle where the margins are expected to be not millions of votes, not hundreds of thousands of votes, but may very well be in the thousands. To claim that these endorsements won't make a difference is ignoring the numbers right in front of our faces. And what's worse for Trump is that while Harris is racking up these endorsements from the biggest stars on earth, here's what Trump's latest endorsement looked like.
Latin music superstar Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot. Where is Nicky?
Quote, Latin music superstar Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot. That's what Trump just said. Now watch the end of the clip.
Thank you, Nicky. Great to be having you here. Now you have to get, oh look. Come here. I'm glad he came up.
Is she hot, Donald? How hot exactly would you say she is? Look, I'm not really in the business of giving Donald Trump campaign advice, but if you're gonna brag about garnering an endorsement, maybe, just maybe, know the first thing about them first. Like, for instance, their gender. Just, for starters. And yet, perplexingly, Trump has actually opted to publicly attack Taylor Swift, posting, "I hate Taylor Swift" on Truth Social. Because even the prospect of attacking one of the biggest stars on the planet is still better than stewing in the aftermath of that debate. This guy was so desperate to deflect away from his own debate performance that feuding with Taylor Swift somehow seemed preferable. Talk about a bad set of cards. Although even that decision was nakedly transparent, as explained by Pete Buttigieg.
Whether it's blurting out a racist remark in an auditorium full of black journalists, as he did a few weeks ago, whether it's choosing 9/11 of all days to invite a 9/11 truther who said it was an inside job with him, right? All of these things are to a purpose. And the purpose is to do something so outrageous that we have to talk about it, that journalists have to go in, if for no other reason than to run it down and debunk it when it's false, and to try to suck up all the oxygen into that so that we're not talking about his profoundly unpopular policy agenda, Project 2025, and all of the failures of his actual time in office.
But I say, let's do both. Let's not forget how disastrous his debate performance was, how unhinged he was on that stage, how little he bothered sharing policy proposals, and let's talk about the fact that Donald Trump is now waging war with one of the biggest stars in the country and alienating himself from millions of people who follow them. That should give a more holistic view of the state of Donald Trump's campaign right now. And in terms of Trump's war with Taylor, well, I'll refer you to Taylor's own words on how she deals with people like him. Before you go, to see more content from MSNBC, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking the link right here on this screen. And you can also follow the link to see some exclusive content only on TikTok.